And just to address your question, and this is a common question I've been getting, is time at the charging stops. And just going through my comment section, that this is obviously a point of concern, a point of contention, and I understand it. In fact, I understand how you feel, and I felt the exact same way, especially if you haven't owned an electric vehicle before. In fact, I remember taking our very first road trip, and I was concerned. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Well, in today's video, we're going to be discussing comments in my comment section. We're going to read some comments and go over them. And the reason for this is that I made a video a few weeks ago, and it was involving, my family and I taking a road trip, and I documented the cost of the trip and added the time up and compared it to what it would cost an equivalent internal combustion engine vehicle to make that same trip, just to try to see, whether or not it was way more expensive to travel in an EV using a public charging infrastructure. And just the full disclosure, my initial guess was that it was going to cost more, maybe significantly more, because it's more expensive to charge on the road at public chargers than it is to charge at home. And so, lots of questions surrounding that, lots of comments on that. And I want to just dispel any type of misconceptions or anything that may have been misconstrued in this video. So let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, before we get started, if you don't mind, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I'm trying to achieve a goal. And I, put a lot of effort in to make these videos, and actually these videos actually cost me money to bring it to you. But I don't mind, as long as I'm providing some type of value. And, full disclosure, I am an electric vehicle owner. I love it, electric vehicles. And I also believe that electric vehicles are superior to gas vehicles in a lot of instances. Do they have some drawbacks? Yes, they do have drawbacks, but it's going to depend on your individual use case and also what you value and what's important to you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And also aim to be as unbiased as possible. I'm sure I have some unconscious biases. Like I said, I am an EV lover, and I think they're superior to gas cars in most instances, and for the average person like myself. And my family, we're the average American family. We live in the middle of America. We kind of live in a rural area. On top of that, I do commute to work, and I do commute to work into the city. And so I think what we represent is a good piece of America. And, so if you're planning on getting the EV, especially if you're a homeowner, and I'm really, I think that's where you have the majority of advantages. But then again, it also depends on what you value and what's important to you, because there's more to it than just saving money. But I think for me, that is a variable, but it's not the variable. And for me, it's a mosaic of things and I think at the core of it, we really value that self-sufficiency and being independent. And that is one of the reasons why I really like electric vehicles. This is a very small YouTube channel. I have no sponsors or anything like that. You're just getting a total raw. None of my videos are scripted. I just start recording and start talking. And some of you may say, oh, I kind of figured that. But this is authentic. So I don't have an agenda. I'm just giving you my own personal experience and experience of my family. So, and hopefully you get some value out of this. And hopefully it's going to help you make an informed decision. You may decide, hey, electric vehicle is for me. Or you may decide, hey, maybe I should wait. So let's go ahead and get into these comments now. Okay. And so we have the first comment right here. And this is from Frank Bartle. 4916, and it says, first, thank you for your video. You're welcome. I'm contemplating upgrading to an EV. I had a bad experience in Massachusetts with the EV rental, but it was not part of our original plan the week we stayed in Cape Cod. If I may ask, did you calculate the total time you spent at the charging stations? Best wishes to you and your family over the holidays and the new year. Thank you again. Excellent video. Thank you very much, Frank, and I appreciate it. And happy holidays to you and your family as well. And just to address your question, and this is a common question I've been getting, is time at the charging stops. And just going through my comment section, that this is obviously a point of concern, a point of contention, and I understand it. In fact, I understand how you feel, and I felt the exact same way. especially if you haven't owned an electric vehicle before. In fact, I remember taking our very first road trip, and I was concerned, and this was over back in, I believe it was end of March of 2023, and I just got my Rivian in February 2023. And my wife and my family and we took a road trip. It was around a 300-mile road trip that we took. It was to a normal vacation stop that we always go to, and we normally take our Mazda CX-9 on this trip. But then this time we decided to take the Rivian. And so I actually found the video footage from that first video. So I'm going ahead and play that video, and you'll see there's something that kind of surprised me from that road trip, from the charging stops. So let's go ahead and spin the clip. All right, today I'm going to be asking my wife some questions about the Rivian. This is our first road trip that we ever taken in this vehicle. And so, what did you like about this road trip?
I liked a lot of things about it. I was not expecting all of our luggage to fit in. However, it did. We usually take the Mazda CX-9 and everything is stored in one compartment, and in the Rivian we put it in different compartments, but it all fit and the storage was great. I was a little scared about our trip because it was only one stop, and driving a gas vehicle all the time, you don't have that concern at all. So if the station did not work and that was our only charging station, my concern is being stranded. However, that did not happen. I think that the charging experience was way better than what I thought. Didn't you?
Yes, I did too. Yeah.
It was super easy and straightforward. And stopping, we usually don't stop if we take a short trip. I guess it was like 3 hours or so.
Yeah, usually not the way on the way there we don't stop.
And I liked it. I liked to stop in the middle. It made the trip seem so much shorter than driving straight through.
And I agree also that it normally I'm driving and normally I feel fatigued when I get to the destination. And this was Branson, Missouri, and this is a place we go normally. Mm-hmm. So usually if we ever taking a road trip, we're going to go to Branson. And yeah, when I got there, I wasn't fatigued at all. Normally I'm tired, I'm shaking, especially if I had a couple sips of caffeine, like an energy drink. I'm usually shaking when I get there. But for me, the ride was smooth. One of the surprises for me was the efficiency. I was expecting to get much lower efficiency, from the vehicle. But the biggest surprise was the charging.
Yes, the charging.
So that was a pleasant surprise. Because you hear all the scary stuff about Electrify America and how the stations never work and this and that, how it's difficult to get it initiated, and no problems at all. I had mine initiated within seconds. So that was a big surprise. All the I don't want to call it fear-mongering, because I'm sure there's a lot of validity to those complaints. But we just didn't experience that at all.
Yeah.
The experience the opposite. Very good charging experience. Charged faster than I expected.
A lot faster.
In fact, a lot. Yeah. We probably could have sat and charged longer because we had a lot of other things to do, like especially with changing the baby's diaper and feeding the baby and just stopping and stretching. Before we knew it, the vehicle was charged beyond what we needed to. But so that was my experience.
But I really enjoyed it. I think that the trip overall was really nice.
Yes. And for
not
me,
many complaints.
For me, driving, it wasn't fatiguing. The trip seemed a lot shorter than it normally does. Yeah. Even though we usually drive straight through, it seemed a lot shorter and faster. For some reason, I don't know what the difference is. And I'm not sure if driving an internal combustion engine has all the vibrations, if that has any, that resonating frequency has an impact on the body, where it's more fatiguing, and that could be something to that, where this vehicle doesn't have those vibrations from the engine and transmission and all those other things. I don't know, I'm just speculating, but I'm just saying for some reason the trip up there and back, I was not fatigued, which I should have been, because before we left, I cut our yard.
Yeah.
And I was cutting grass for a couple hours before we left that morning. And so you would think I would be more fatigued, on the way up there, but it was not the case. So what do you think about going on a longer road trip in the Rivian?
Well, we looked at them. We looked to see just about going to Florida, how many stops would be on the way, because it was a little concerning when we just went to Branson. It was only one stop, so we had to look at different areas, but there are plenty of stops going down, heading south. And I think I like that. I would like to make all the stops that it recommends, because I think that makes the trip feel shorter.
I think it does.
Which is crazy, but I think that it does. You get to get out and walk, even if you just walk around your car and stretch your legs a little bit while your car is charging. We didn't wait very long at all.
Okay, so you can see from that video that we were surprised by the stops, and that is, in fact, we have taken quite a few road trips since then, and I have to say that I am so much more relaxed on these trips. Let me tell you, I'm getting this comment in here a lot. And I even, did a poll of EV owners and asked the same question, because I never hear EV owners really talk about charging stops on road trips. You never hear, it's rare. And I'm sure people run into issues, especially if there's a charger that's full and you have to wait, obviously, or if it's a broken charger. But in general, I really don't hear people talking about the wait times at chargers. That's not something that comes up. In fact, as you saw in the video, it's something that quite surprised me, pleasantly surprised me. I was shocked to find out that it was so much better riding in an electric vehicle on a road trip. Again, like I said, I have no agenda here. I'm not sponsored by anybody. So I'm just trying to let you know that, to kind of put this into perspective. Look at my subscriber count, it's pretty darn low. And I get nothing out of this. This is not what I do for a living, and nothing my family does for a living also. And so I'm not affiliated with any EV markets or anything like that. But I'm just going to continue down. And it says, someone here, this is Dave Egan, he says, it's so much simpler to pull into a gas station to fill up, get whatever you want, and be gone in 10 to 15 minutes, even with toilet breaks. Gas stations are everywhere. That is somewhat true in the minds of people. That's true in the mind. But in reality, I'm a data and statistics person. This is based on research, and this was by research done by Payless Power, that the average person spends 20 minutes at the gas station. And matter of fact, I have a video coming out maybe in about a week or so, where I actually go to the gas station. I drive my gas car to the gas station. I time everything. I did another one like that in the past also. But people do not calculate the amount of time that they go to the gas station. And you're probably going to the gas station about 30 times a year. And depending on how close that gas station is to your house, you have to calculate the time that the route deviation starts to the time to fill up the gas if you go inside the gas station, until the time the route deviation ends. And another thing about electric vehicles that people don't know is that you can just plug it in and walk away. So I don't have to sit there with my EV while it's charging. I can plug it in and go have something to eat, go to the bathroom. With a gas car, you got to sit there and you got to pump the gas. You got to be in close proximity to your car while your gas is pumping. And then someone did respond here, says it's even easier to wake up to a fuel charged car in the morning. Also easier to do it without timing belts, transmission fluid, oil changes. I know. It won't work for you because you drive 900 miles each day, every day of the week. This is from Charles B.J. Town. And yeah, it's kind of funny, because you would think, based on the comments I get in my comment section, that everyone's driving 800 miles a day. Everyone's taking a road trip every day. These are very rare occurrences. And again, let me just keep going through the comment section here. So we have Long Live Rock and Metal. And they say 16:33, and that's the timestamp for the video that I'm referring to. Says it all. It says 62% state of charge, $48 in 26 minutes. I can get a 100% fill of gas in about 5 minutes for $48 less. You didn't start charging on empty, but hey, this vid is good whether you're one is pro EV or anti-EV. Rivian looks nice, more of a flex than a practicality. So yeah, so a few things here. First of all, that charge cost me $59, and it took 29 minutes. And that is the most expensive charging session or charging station I've been to. And also it says I can get 100% fill up on gas in 5 minutes for $48. That is true. However, again, people underestimate the amount of time they stop to get gas. And like, again, as I stated numerous of times before, there's research on this. Gas stations make the majority of their money off of the concessions in the store. That's because the average stop is 20 minutes, the average dwell time. That's not even including the route deviation that's factored in. There's multiple studies on this. Even the Grocers Association have research on this also. This is how they make money. And so people underestimate the amount of time they stop on road trips. You know, the average person takes a 15-minute break every 2 hours. And that's what the data says. And in fact, that is the recommendation. Every recommendation, in fact, I'll show you here, shows that you should stop every 2 hours. Again, and this one from Penn State University, and this road trip will run young children. It said road trip considerations right here. Plan to stop driving every 2 to 3 hours for day trips and every 4 to 6 hours on night trips. I cannot last 6 hours. So my bladder is like, well, you got to stop and charge. I have to stop and use the bathroom. And so one of those things are going to happen. And usually I have to use the bathroom. And on this road trip on this video, I could not wait to stop because I had to use the bathroom. So a stop was going to happen whether a charge was going to happen or not. It seems like, man, do I have like a weak bladder? I don't think so. But it sounds like a lot of these people in these comment sections have bionic bladders that can just go on forever and ever. And then someone else said, and this is from RMDC6TX, it says, so you have advantages, but you do not factor total cost of ownership of owning an EV. Purchase price, insurance, lack of repair parts, and faster tire and brake wear. Yes, everything is factored in. Everything is considered. Like I said, I've owned EVs and internal combustion, and I will let you know, and I cover this in another video. My Mazda CX-9, which is a very reliable vehicle, is a very good vehicle. That maintenance cost, just to the upkeep maintenance, and this is not for any repairs, costs more than 3 times of all my electric vehicles combined. Let me say that again. This is 4. I'm talking about 4 one Mazda CX-9 maintenance, routine maintenance costs more than 4 electric vehicles combined. That's just the math. That's just how it works out. And I would say, well, we did have to replace the brakes on the Mazda. You probably never replace the brakes on an electric vehicle. And again, you will go watch some of my videos. I made one comparing gas to a commute in my Rivian R1T. I never touched the brakes in the entire video. And that's something that people don't know about electric vehicles. You don't use the brakes. Very rarely. You do one pedal driving. All you do is just lift your foot off the accelerator and press it. So that is why it's so much better to take off-road, especially in traffic. It is so much easier and less fatiguing to drive in traffic. I mean, I'm just look at me. I am not lying here. I have nothing to gain from you watching this video or you believing. I have nothing to gain by whether you choose to buy EV or not. Zero, zilch nada. But others do. In fact, when I talked about Pilot, the evgo GM energy station, how it was the most expensive, I said I do a lot of research. I remember seeing that Pilot name and so I was like, why does that seem familiar? Because I'm always, when I hear people speak, I'm always wondering what their ulterior motives are. And so I'm just going to go here. And this is what's called Open Secrets. And this is an oil and gas summary. So Open Secrets basically lets you know who's getting what type of political donations, what organizations or companies are donating to whom. And that can kind of give you, open your eyes up to, okay, this is why this group of people are against electric vehicles. It all comes down to the dollars. Look. Come in close. This is about the dollars and not your dollars. This is about their profit margins. And the more you pay and the more gas you buy is helping their profit margins. It's not helping you. And this is why I'm going to show you right here. Okay, right here. This is showing who is all these companies sending money to politicians. And the red obviously is for lean Republicans, and blue is for Democrat, or either leans liberal or either lean conservative. And we're just going to see here. And okay, we look at all this money: 47 million, 35 million, Chevron 9 million, and these are going to the Republican Party. And which happens if you see they want to really scale back these EV incentives, and you can see why. The oil companies do not want you to own an EV. The oil companies are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to influence politicians to come up with policies that are anti-EV. And so you have to ask yourself, why? Do you think the oil company has your best interest at heart? Do you really believe that? And if you do, hey, I would say get 20 gas cars, go outside, just turn your car on, let it run for 24/7. And then just go fill it up and just do it again. If you really believe the oil company have your best interest at heart, and then I'm going to get back to Pilot. Here they are right here, Pilot Corp. They donated $1,461,148 to politicians. They donated $350,000 to conservative groups. They donated $1,109,240 to conservative groups and $4,606 to Democrats, for a total of $1,461,148. This is Pilot. So I was like, should I trust them? Maybe there's a reason why their prices are so high. And I'm gonna do another video on this, but that is something that can take into consideration. I can understand, like, if you are doing a lot of road tripping, if you're traveling more than 300 miles a day, then an EV is probably not for you. Right now, I mean, there are cars that can go over 500 miles, like the Lucids. They can go over 500 miles. The Chevy Sierra or the Chevy Silverado EV, they can go almost 500 miles. So there are vehicles out there that can do it, but you have a limited selection. And these vehicles are very expensive on top of it. And so a lot of you are just going to have to wait. So right now, may not be the time. I mean, these things are really expensive still. And there's not a lot of options out there, really. So unless you want a Tesla or what else? But right now, there's not a lot of options when it comes to EVs. The more options, the better, and that's going to get all these costs down. So let me know what you think in the comment section. And I hope this helped out. Again, I love road tripping in the EV. We have a gas car that we road tripped in. For years, we owned that Mazda since 2017. And we can make a choice. We have a gas car that we can take on a road trip, but we're not going to take that gas car on the road trip again after driving an electric vehicle. So just let that sink in. This is an actual real family. Like I said, we have 2 young children. And we have decided, we made a conscious decision that it's much better to road trip in that electric vehicle because much lower stress level. When I get to our destination, I'm refreshed, and you can't put a dollar amount. At least I can't put a dollar amount on that, because road tripping in that Mazda, even though it's a good vehicle, it was like a chore. It was something that had to be done. I had to get from one point to point A to point B, and I tried to do it as fast as possible because it was just miserable. But road tripping in that Rivian R1T or the Rivian R1S is a pleasant experience, let me tell you. I can't wait to road trip. We've taken more road trips now since we own those EVs because it is a pleasant experience. And I'm not sure you can put a dollar value on it because everyone's coming in, but time is money. No, it's not. There's some things that you can't place a dollar value on. And that is comfort and convenience, peace of mind, lower stress level. For me, that's more valuable. And those brakes, those force brakes help with that. And it makes the trip just seem shorter and better. And I can't wait to take the next road trip. But let me know what you think in the comments. And EV owners, I want you to go ahead and comment in the comment section what your experiences, with road tripping and stopping at the stops is an issue for you. And also people who are not EV owners. I can understand how you feel. Again, I felt the same way before I took my first road trip. Well, that's all I have for today. I'd like to thank you for joining me once again. And I can't wait to see you on the next video.